my topic is called the fundamental principles of Chinese medicine in treating disease. Everybody knows that Chinese medicine is able to treat disease, but what are the fundamental principles of the Chinese medicine in treating disease? We will mention later. First of all, let me have a definition on the concept of health. What is health? Health have many definitions. According to the WHO, health can be divided into 3 types. One is our physical health. Second is a psychological health. Third is our social health. So in physical health, of course, it means our body is getting disorder. While in the psychological health, it means our mental health must be maintained. Concerning about the social health, it means we have a difficulty in getting along with other people. And then this is something wrong with the social health. So health in Chinese medicine, it means it's a very simple, profound, and also philosophical aspect. Just very simple. Health means balance. What kind of balance? Actually, this balance means in our body, everything we must maintain a balance, and also we need to restore this balance in our body in order to get health. But we know that the balance according to the Chinese medicine theory of oneness between man and nature, to include 2 things. One means the person itself is an organic whole. So we maintain balance, that means a balance with inside and outside, with the upper part and lower part, and also with all our organs. And this is what we call them the holistic theory. And another part of the holistic theory concerns about the balance between man and nature. That means man is a part of the nature. You must live along with this nature. If you live along with that, and then you will be healthy. If you live against this nature, and then you will get sick, that means this nature will harm your body. Okay, in the first part, maintaining health, we need to maintain a balance inside our body. So we know that inside our body, we have the qi and blood. We have the 5 visceral and also the 6 bowel organs. We also have all the channels and collateral together. In order to maintain health, we need to keep the balance between the qi and blood, and also among all the organs, and also between the channels and collaterals. So maintaining the balance and also restoring the balance and our task of preservation of health and treating disease. So if we know that health means balance, so unhealth or getting sickness means unbalance. And this unbalance in the body, of course, will means that this deviation, from the balanced state. So in order to treat the disease, of course, we try our method, try our best to correct the deviation. How to correct this deviation? Of course, if the deviation is too small, our body will restore to its normal state. If the deviation is too large, of course, we need to invite the doctor or employ some medicine to treat this deviation. If the deviation is too large that the doctor cannot treat, or we cannot treat with any medical modality, it means you're going to die. So again, correcting deviation is one way of treating our disease. The TCM holds that the treatment of this disease is based on correcting this deviation by any modality. Of course, when we are using the Chinese herb, it means the Chinese herb has some ability to correct this deviation by his properties. You know that there are many properties in Chinese herbs. For example, we get the 4 qi, we get the 5 favor, we get the channel orientation, we also get what we call the 4 physical properties of the ascending, descending, exiting, and also entering. Now we focus on what we call the 4 qi. Actually, the 4 qi in the medicine means the 4 different properties, which include cold, cool, warm, and hot. Of course, everybody knows cold and hot. Between cold and hot, we know that less cold means cold. Less heat means warm. So in this case, we can roughly divide our medicine into 2 types. When we have cold and cool, which belongs to cold nature. When we have hot and warm, this should belong to hot nature. So whenever we have any herb, any Chinese herb, we can classify them into either cold nature or hot nature. In order to understand more about this cold and hot nature, we can take a very good example of considering what are the favorite food eating in the summer and what are the favorite food in the winter. In summertime, in the hot summer, what is your favorite food? Of course, you can tell me ice cream, icy water, watermelon, and also all the cold and icy food, right? Why do you take that food? Why? Because you think when you take those food, you feel comfortable, you feel cool. And this is also, it can lower down your body temperature, right? This is why we take this food. And this also can be applied to our body. When our body feeling hot, you can drink some cold water, drink some cold drink, okay? And this is because, this also because of availability of food. In the old time, we don't have any watermelon in the winter. We don't have any, bitter guava in the winter. But nowadays, of course, due to the change in technology, you can get this kind of the cold food even in the winter time. Okay? Take for another example. Everybody likes, to eat hot food in the winter time. Why? Because in the cold winter, everybody crave for all those hot food, just like hot chocolate, hot soup, and also when you are eating out, you would like to order the hot pot. Why? Because in this cold winter, everybody can take the hot food in order to get warmer, in order to get more energy. And this is our nature, okay? And so in this way, we understand that our body, when we get heat, we like to take cold food. When it's getting cold, we like to take hot food. This is our favor, okay? This is also a principle, in treating disease. And of course, in our daily life, we know that food can also be used as a kind of treating disease. According to what we call it the food and medicine homology, we know that all the food possess the property of heat or cold. And same as the medicine also have this effect. That means when we use this food or when we eat this food, they have the same medical effect as the medicine, that they can cure heat, they can tonify our body, they can also treat disease. Okay, so in many ways, we can use the food to treat this disease. And many people in Canada just doesn't like to take herbs, doesn't like to take Western medicine. They can also depend on this kind of food in treating disease, which we call the diet therapy or food therapy. It's because food and medicine, they have the same effect in treating disease. So when we understand this principle, we know that all the foods can be divided into cold type or heat type. Okay, so according to this list, and then we have this list here, we can find that all the foods can also be divided into their yin and yang according to Chinese medicine, in which the yang consists of the hot and also the warm food. And also in the yang, in the yin part, those food belonging to cold or cool belong to yin. And this list, you can find that not only the food taken out from the fridge belong to cold nature. They can also, there are also some foods, they are not, taken from fridge, but they belong to cold nature. For example, watermelon, green mango pudding, and also, those food just like the middle garden, they also have this kind of the nature. Okay, and of course, it doesn't mean that when you put a thermometer into this food, it will give you high temperature. Or when you put the thermometer into cold nature food, it will give you the low temperature. When you put a thermometer into watermelon, it is the same as you put a thermometer in the ginger. It shows that they are the same temperature. But why we call the watermelon to be cold nature? Why we call the ginger or those hot chocolate to be hot nature? Because the effect they produce in man. That means when you are taking the watermelon and also the banana into the body, it will produce cold effect. When you take the garlic and also the ginger and also the curry in the body, it will produce more heat in your body. So in this case, you can find that food, they're not according to their temperature, but it depends on the effects produced on man, on our human body. Okay, so you can see that a lot of the food are here, just like the garlic, the onion, and also the chicken, and also the beef, they belong to the hot type. While those foods, just like the lemon, the fruit, and also the pear, and also those and the lettuce, those belong to the cold nature. Okay, so in this way, we will know that we can try to use those herbs and cold nature herb and also the hot nature herb to treat different disease. And according to the general treatment principle in the two TCM classics, one is called Wang Di Neijing, the Yellow Empress of classical medicine. The other, we call them Shen Long Ban Qiao Jing, which is also called the Divine Pharmacy Materia Medica. According to these two books, they have only one general treatment principle, which is called using hot natured herb to treat the cold disease, or using the cold natured herb to treat the hot disease. So in this way, we can apply what we learn, in the food and also the herb to treat the diseases. For example, when somebody get the fever, of course everybody knows fever belongs to the hot disease. When somebody get the sore throat, which also belongs to hot disease, we can use the cold natured food to treat it. For example, drinking more water. For example, also taking some pear. For example, eating some watermelon, and even drinking the cold water. You can relieve, some of the hot diseases, just like fever. Okay, when you get the sore throat, of course, you can also get some cool substance in order to relieve your pain. So this is one of the examples. And even those people getting the fever, when they get the common cold or when they get the COVID, of course, it's good to use some formula which belong to hot cold nature to treat this disease. On the other hand, when those people suffer from cold diseases, for example, you are returning home from outside, which is very cold, or somebody falling down in the ground in a cold winter, and then we can save him by using some hot natured food. A very common example is we can use a ginger juice, to treat those people falling into unconsciousness because of the cold. So this actually is the application of using cold nature herb to treat the hot disease, the cold nature, and also using the hot nature food to treat the cold diseases. So in this case, when we understand this principle, so next time when we have the disease, and first of all, you need to recognize the nature of disease, whether it belongs to cold nature or hot nature. Once you recognize them, and then you can use the correct treatment of the using different modality, either using herb or using acupuncture or using the massage, which also can divide it into either cold or hot nature to treat the disease. So this is actually the application of what we call the general treatment principle according to the TCM principle and also the classics. Okay, so here I would like to introduce some of the fundamental principles of the Chinese church in treating disease. So if you like, of course, you can try to learn some of the herbs and also some of our daily food in treating disease according to their nature. So remember the last the statement that we always use the cold natured herb or cold natured food in treating the hot disease, while we are using the hot natured herb or hot natured food in treating the cold disease. So this is what we emphasize on. And no matter which modality, for example, in the acupuncture, you can also have what we call them to be the reduction method, and also what we call them the enforcement method to introduce this kind of the method here. Okay, so I think this is a very good lecture for you guys to learn the fundamental principle of Chinese herb in treating disease. Okay, so thank you so much.